Let's rock and roll! Well, or better, heavy metal. In 2000, Heavy Metal 2000 was released. Adult animated science fiction movie that featured, of course, heavy metal music and scantily clad characters. Heavy Metal F.A.K.K. 2 was released the same year, a third-person puzzle-solving platform shooter video game that was a direct sequel to the movie. But don't worry, knowledge of the movie is not necessary to enjoy the game. The fate of the people of Eden is in your hands. Julia saved people in the movie, and now, as Julia, you have to save them again because the planet has been discovered by Gith, an evil in the form of cybernetic head who is trying to conquer the universe. The planet is attacked by hostile insect-like creatures, and after the shield generator is destroyed, an invasion by Gith forces begins. But the story is not so simple. Gith is trying to find important essence in the heart of the planet that could give the holder incredible power. So you must find a way to get the heart of the Wii before the Gith can. When you start the game, you will see something very similar to Tomb Raider and Lara Croft. You will solve puzzles, jump to various places and kill many enemies. So far, it is Tomb Raider. But even those the same things are better here, because it has a better story and music, nicer graphics, and a new approach to using weapons, and incorrect Julia Strange suits that are probably stolen from a nightclub or Playboy. With interesting and varied locations, fun enemies, and thousands of weapons, it is one of the best games of its kind. And yes, those are heretic words, but it is way better than Lara Croft and her Tomb Raider. But of course, this game isn't perfect either. But there are just two downsides that are, again, quite similar to Tomb Raider. The first thing, the controls are sometimes weird, even though the game was released exclusively for PC. For example, sometimes you get stuck on the edge of an object, even though the object is smoothly following another, and some actions are performed automatically. For example, jumping at a rope causes climbing the rope, but sometimes that doesn't happen, so you fall down the hill. Climbing the rope is quite tricky overall, as the up and down arrows are not for climbing up and down, but for swinging. You need to use the crouch and jump keys to climb. To release the rope, you must use the use key, so it causes problems when you need to act quickly. On the other hand, controls issues and bugs often related to camera, but not in this case. The camera is much more intuitive than in the aforementioned Tomb Raider, and you don't have problems with orientation. That is especially important in battles. And the second thing is the absence of multiplayer, but I think that is not a mistake. Developers were able to focus on the important aspects of the game, and the result is brilliant. So let's look at the strength of the game. The locations are breathtaking and varied. You will visit a village full of your friends, then you will look into an underground full of steampunk technologies. You will also visit the beautiful cliffs of the planet Eden, deadly swamps, and finally enter a temple with the spirit of wind, water, and blood, where space and time is distorted. Each location is unique. The underground is full of various machines, and the whole location is situated indoors. On the other hand, the cliffs are situated outdoors with beautiful nature, and each location also features different puzzles and enemies. Honestly, Heavy Metal is not as puzzling a game as Tomb Raider. It's a lot more action-packed, but sometimes you must use your brain. It is also important not to skip the tutorial because there are many things you can do in the game. For example, you can grab a small animal and throw it somewhere. It is important to keep this in mind because at one point you have to catch one of the native rabbits and throw him at the carnivorous plant so the poor rabbit will be eaten instead of you. Or I remember one machine that you have set up the right way. If you use it incorrectly, it will crash you. But puzzle tasks are not so common. Most of the time the problem is that you must act quickly and accurately, so you have to jump over huge holes and moving platforms. One example, you have to jump up the circular stairs, but you only have a few seconds to do it because after the set limit the stairs will fall. And these situations are quite common. Heavy Metal is primarily an action game and there are many different types of enemies. In the first part, you will mainly face mutated insects, rabbits, or something like a clown. After a while, more difficult gorilla-like Rolex and various kind of hostile plants will come. After destroying the shield generator, the things go much worse and you will face mercenaries with a rocket launcher, a machine gun and also a flamethrower. And some beasts with deadly blades can teleport behind you. In nature, you will hate annoying birds and at the end of the game, you will encounter ghosts that are almost invisible most of time. All characters have pretty good artificial intelligence, especially the blade beasts that are extremely deadly. Lucky for you that you can save the game anywhere you want. And the bosses? There are only a few bosses, but each of them is unique and you have to use different tactics. For example, the first boss is just a few minutes after starting the game and it is quite hard if you don't know what to do. In this case, you have to hide yourself behind obstacles so that it doesn't see you and put dynamite on the green rocks. And I would like to mention the final boss that is a pain in the ass because you have no chance of winning the battle if you don't know what to do. Why? Because you can take him down by only specific procedure. After a few hits, you have to use a special weapon to steal his energy. Otherwise, he will regenerate his health. I hadn't used that weapon before, so I didn't know that I were supposed to do that. And when the boss has no health, you could expect him to die. No way. I fought him for possibly another 15 minutes without any success. You have to use a special sword that you get during the fight, but you have to jump to hit his head. Without this information, you can't win the game. So what about weapons? Well, there are about 20 different weapons, but that is not that interesting. More interesting is the mechanism that you can equip each hand with a different weapon. So you can use a sword in one hand and hold a shield in the other. Or you can use a pistol instead of the shield. Or you can take two uses. The combination is up to you. However, some of the larger weapons are two-handed, so if you are using a rocket launcher, flamethrower, chain gun or axe, you can't use another weapon. The graphics are still nice nowadays, thanks to the modified Quake 3 engine that the game is running on. Everything looks smooth and detailed, as you can see in the video. Combined with interesting and varied locations, the game is a joy to play, especially when you look at the main character who is, well, she needs to be agile and fast, so many outfits wouldn't be the best. Her fursuit is within the social norms, but when the game is going on, she wears less and less clothing. When you fight a final boss, she has almost nothing on her body. Nice. And the music, as the name of the game suggests, you should be really pleased. Even the song in the main menu is catchy. The game even has a whole soundtrack full of good music, and you may know artists like System of a Down, Pantera, or Billy Idol. So what about pros? Well, the first advantage is Julia herself, and of course her clothing. The game also contains diverse locations, warriors' weapons and their combinations, and also nice graphics and music. And what about cons? Well, I think there is only one disadvantage, and that is controls. Thank you for watching the video. Next time, we will look at Novologic's game in voxel graphics that has something to do with the legendary actor who is the only person the dead is afraid of. Do you know what it will be? If you want to watch the review of your favorite game, please leave a comment below this video or on our Facebook page. And now we are preparing a special section for your reviews, so if you want to add your review on our YouTube channel, please send it to oldschoolgamesreviews@gmail.com. And if it is good, everyone can watch it soon. So bye and see you next time!